Yeah, g'day, this is Food of New Zealand. Now, being a country that has a lot of sheep, like lots and lots and lots of sheep, most people would think our most popular food is like lamb chops or roast lamb, and yeah, it is, but we've got heaps more too, like instant noodles, which are like noodles that are ready in an instant, or like a couple of minutes. It usually takes it's quite misleading. Also another sort of noodles we love is spaghetti, but like they've put it in a can and it's covered in some kind of tomato sauce stuff. You can eat it cold or chuck it on toast. You can put it on a pizza and then maybe add some pineapple on the pizza or not. You know, that one's quite controversial, the pineapple thing. Tomato sauce. Here in New Zealand, we love tomato sauce and put it on anything. Tomato sauce on our fish and chips. Tomato sauce to cover up mum's cooking. Tomato sauce on tomato sauce. Pies. Meat pies. Here in New Zealand, we love meat pies, but this really needs like a video all on its own because we make like so many different pies, so many different flavors, and we make the best ones in the world. Although Australia would probably say something like, "Oh, Struth, no you don't, mate. We make the best pies in the world." They don't. New Zealand, we love pies. Weet-Bix, which are like a morning breakfast, weird kind of stale biscuit thing. But when you add a bit of hot water and a splash of milk, it turns into a wheat sensation. Weet-Bix are kind of like the backbone in New Zealand. Like nothing gets more New Zealand than Weet-Bix. Minties. Minties are like a rock hard, really hard, sticky lolly or candy, which have been known to rip out fillings or even loose teeth. And for cheap lollies, just chuck your finger into a packet of Raro. Delicious. We love bread, like sauce on bread, pie on bread, pie and sauce on bread, even those instant noodle things on bread. Not joking, that was like my main meal every day after school for a snack was instant noodles on bread. It was like carb on carb, like double carb loading. Better living, everyone. Pavlova, a legendary New Zealand dessert with like little kiwi fruit and strawberry bits on top. Every year the Australians try to, whine about it and claim that it comes from Australia. It's not a New Zealand dessert, but it is. And just to keep them quiet, we just keep beating them at rugby. Hokey Pokey ice cream, which is ice cream, but it's got like these little like hokey pokey bits that kind of look like boogers, but they're not boogers. I don't actually know what they are. Really, are they boogers? Hangi. Hangi is like a traditional Māori meal that's cooked like underground, but I personally prefer boil up, mainly because my wife hates it when I dig up the backyard to get the cookie. Boil up is like a big pot where you chuck in pork bones and some like vegetables and puha and just boil it up. Pineapple lumps, which are like a chocolate thing, and when you actually stop and think about it, they don't really taste like pineapple at all. I don't know what it is. Anyway, pineapple lumps. Chocolate fish, that's just like a little fish covered in chocolate. Lamingtons, which are like quite a dry sponge thing. But like, look, the tiniest little bit of something on the outside. To be honest, I didn't want to include this in the list, but I thought I'd get all like heckled if I left them off because they're quite kiwi. Not a fan, really. You need a big glass of water just to get the thing down here. A sausage sizzle sausage. Here in New Zealand, we love to have sausage sizzles, which is like you take a normal sausage and then you sizzle it on the barbecue, and then you like fry some onions up and you chuck the sausage in the bread with put onions on top and then just cover it in heaps of tomato sauce. Easy. Marmite, which is like a dark, weird, yeasty spread which should only ever be used very thinly, like on bread or toast, and never by the spoonful unless you're making a wacky video about food in New Zealand. Fairy bread. Fairy bread's the one, when we were real little here in New Zealand, and your parents are at like kindergarten, they'd make it and they'd put like all the little bits, the 100,000s onto the bread with the butter, and then it was real cool. Chip dip. When you put these two things together and mix it up, it makes like this thick yum-ass sauce stuff. which we then put our chips in as like a chip dip. Oh, but cold chips, not hot chips. You just use cold chips, and then you don't want to get the thin chips because they'll break, and then you've got a man overboard in the bowl of the dip. Kiwi fruit, which is actually a fruit that's native to China, but because of the name, like a lot of people, including us, kind of think it's just from New Zealand. And you know, we do chop it up and put it on the mighty New Zealand dessert, the pavlova. So I'm pretty sure we could just go ahead and claim that one for ourselves. Also here in New Zealand, we love a good pad thai, taro, chicken tikka masala, sushi, chow mein, couscous, because here in New Zealand, we're like a big melting pot of all different cultures and ethnicities. You could say we're like a big boil up pot just of all different flavors. And it's the best blimmin' boil up I've ever seen. And that was food in New Zealand. Hope you enjoyed. And just remember to always blow on the pie. Cheers. Oh, you could subscribe while you wait for me to blow. Or like watch something else. There's probably like another video here like you could watch or click.